From starting out my journey on YouTube up until now, I've been able to meet with over 49 millionaires from the African continent. And in today's video, I want to share some of the lessons I've learned from hanging out with these guys in the hope that somebody out there gets inspired. Currently, Africa has over 138,000 millionaires. And when I say millionaires, I mean millionaires in dollars. And they are all scattered over the African continent and also abroad. These are people who have made their wealth from building businesses inside Africa and also outside Africa. And on this channel, we had the opportunity of sitting down with a couple of them through our Made in Africa series where I interview entrepreneurs across the globe. So back then when I was younger, when I started out my journey on YouTube, I was in school then, I didn't even have an idea of how I could make money. I always had this entrepreneurial spirit in me when it comes to starting up businesses, which led me to start some businesses while I was in university, which I've discussed on this channel. One of them was a restaurant where I used to sell food. And also back then, I also started out an event company and then eventually tried out doing the Uber driving business. I come from a very average background. My parents both worked for the government. I always knew I wanted to do business. I always knew I didn't want to work for anybody, but I didn't have the opportunity to sit down with anybody who had the necessary knowledge or who had actually done it, who had started a business and built it to a point where they became a millionaire in dollars until I started YouTube. So this let me turn into the only options I had. One was the internet and the second one was reading books. I used to read a lot of books about a lot of entrepreneurs. I always wanted to learn how they built their businesses. I always loved to figure out how things work. If I heard about a company, maybe like Apple, I just wanted to know, okay, who built it? And this led me to eventually starting the Made in Africa series by the time I started my YouTube channel. So in this video, I want to discuss 8 of the lessons I've learned from meeting entrepreneurs across Africa. One of the things I've noticed with almost everybody I've met is that they have a time schedule. They don't waste time. So if they say they want to meet you up by 8 o'clock, you have to be there by 8 o'clock because they probably have a lot of other appointments. For example, one of the entrepreneurs that I've met who is in the real estate business, he has a schedule where he wakes up at 6 a.m. and then he has to leave the house at probably worst case scenario 6:30. There are time slots for everything from 6:30 all the way to 5 p.m. when he clocks out, and then he heads back home and then he still has work to do. And I think this is actually very important because the most final resource we have in life is time. You can always make more money, you can never make more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. So time is super important to these guys. And from my experience relating with them or hanging out with them, I see that they take time very seriously because for them, it's like time is how they make their money. The second part is that none of the entrepreneurs I've seen actually worked a 9 to 5. All of them built a business. And I think this is something that I learned earlier on while I was in school. Because back then when I was in university, you know, the dream then was just finishing university and getting a $100 a month job, which back then, like now is 100,000 naira, at least for a start. But I think for me, I looked at it in the long run and was always like, I'm not sure this was actually going to make sense. And from talking to many of the entrepreneurs that I've sat down with, many of them are people who came up with an idea to create a product or a service that they are rendering to people, and they've been able to scale it up to a point. One of the people I've met was a real estate agent who eventually became a developer. So he started from renting houses to people, he started to build houses for people, and that's how he made his money. Another one was in the furniture business. From starting a furniture business, getting artisans together and creating projects for people, she eventually was able to build her own company, and now they create specific products and then they ship it out. So none of them became millionaires in dollars from a 9 to 5, not a single one. The truth is that most times working a 9 to 5 will make you wealthy, as sad as it might sound. In the general statistics and analytics of the world, the wealthiest people who work 9 to 5 are the people at the top of their company, and it takes them a very long time to get there. It will take you a shorter time if you're able to build a business and create a product or a service that renders help to people or gives them a solution to their problems. Another thing I've learned from all the entrepreneurs I met was that they play a long game. Most of them are not just in business just to make quick gains. And many of them have built whatever business that they have over a long period of time. Most times 5 to 10 years for the ones that I've actually met. And then they spend time building that one business before they now moved into other things. So what I've learned from them is the power of patience. For example, the real estate person I mentioned earlier, he started this business being a real estate agent and then moved on to being a developer. I've also met somebody who, the person cuts down trees and they supply all the poles that they use for construction. So if you're driving along the road, all those poles you see, the ones that are actually trees that are not made from concrete, that's what the person does. And the person started that a long time ago before they now became the major supplier of an African country. Whatever business idea you're working on, it takes time. You need to spend time learning, making a lot of mistakes, and gradually building your wealth to the point where everything just flows seamlessly. Even though I don't think it ever gets to that point though, but yeah, you get it. Most of them live a minimalist lifestyle. I look at all the entrepreneurs that I've met over the years who are millionaires, can only count maybe like 4 or 5 that really spend a lot of money on expensive things. Most of them, the game is the game. The game is where they have their mind on. The real millionaires, you can't really see their wealth on their body. Like you won't really know that this guy is a millionaire, especially in the tech space. They just wear like a t-shirt. Also another one, this one might sound like, yeah, it's like everybody knows this one, is they are all hardworking. All of them, every single one, they are always working. And I think it keeps bringing me back to the fact that there's no way you can make a lot of wealth if you're not hardworking. And when I say hardworking, I mean they work like almost every day. I don't think there's any of them that doesn't work every single day, except maybe the older ones who have gotten to a point where they've achieved a level of comfort. But every single one of them, they work every single day. In my own business, in my own perspective, like building this YouTube channel alone, I've had to work every single day. There's no day I'm not working. Today is Sunday and I'm filming this video and I'm gonna have to send it to my editors to edit it. So there's work constantly happening every single day. You can't escape it. There's no way you can have wealth without actually working. It's not possible. Except maybe your father is very rich and then you inherited the wealth. By the end of the day, for you to even keep that wealth, you still need to keep working in one form or the other. Number 6 is also that they all have regular problems. I didn't really learn this one just from, like making videos on YouTube and meeting them. I learned this from when I was an Uber driver. Because when I was an Uber driver, I used to drive for Uber Black. Uber Black was the very expensive luxury one in Nigeria before they eventually scrapped it. People were requesting Uber Black were people in Ikoyi, people in VI, like this very rich people. And most times you drive into their house, you see their house, it looks very luxurious. You see the cars that they have there. And probably that day, they probably just wanted to use, an Uber to get to an event because they didn't want to drive. So most times they used to request Uber Black. One of the things I've learned from many of the rich people I carried during that period of time, they have a lot of problems, the same way we have problems. It's just that many of their problems are high-level problems. Somebody thinking about what car they want to buy, they also get unhappy, they also feel stressed. And I learned all of this just from driving people around, because every single day when I was driving Uber, I used to pick like 12 to 13 people. And I used to listen to a lot of all these conversations and just like learn a lot about the nature of people and the fact that even if you're rich, you're poor, you're going to have problems. It's just that the type of the problem a rich person has is going to be different from the type of the problem a poor person has, but they are still going to have problems at the end of the day. Another thing I've learned from the millionaires I've met too is that they are more willing to listen to you if you're willing to give them value. Millionaires have a hard time being around people because most of the time, the people they are around, they want something from them. I can imagine if you're watching this video and you just have some money, you don't even need to be a millionaire in dollars. I can imagine the amount of people who reach out to you every day and be like, oh, send me money, oh, I have this problem, I have that problem. Then now imagine what the millionaires in dollars are facing every single day. Because when you make money, a lot of people believe that you owe them some of that money. Like, because I know you, I should be able to reach out to you and get money from you every single time. And definitely it's good to help people, but I think a lot of people try to take advantage of a lot of rich people. So most of the time they are very guarded. So the only time they usually open up is in a case where they feel like you have something of value to give them. And I think for me, one of the reasons I've been able to meet all these millionaires is because of this YouTube channel. I reach out to them and tell them, oh, I want to tell a story. And that's value for them because one, it helps them market their company. Secondly, it helps them tell their story, which ends up making them feel important. The whole reason we buy many of the luxurious goods we buy the nice car, the nice watch, we're with that nice babe or that nice chick. It's because when we step out, we want to feel important. We want people to respect us. So if you're out there and you want to be friends with millionaires or you want to be able to sit down with millionaires and access them, I would say you should find something that you can use that builds value. The more value you can create, the more trust you can build, the more you're able to be in their spare and be able to work with them and call them up and just be friends with them. And there's that thing that they say, like, if you surround yourself with 4 broke people, you're going to be the brokest one. But if you surround yourself with like 4 millionaires, you're also going to be a millionaire very soon because you are an average of the 4 to 5 people you surround yourself with. Before we jump into the final, and one of the most important lessons I've learned from hanging out with all these millionaires, I would love to talk a little bit about my YouTube course, which is called the Aina YouTube Creator Academy. And this course took me over a year to create. One of the best ways to make money is by building an online brand on YouTube. And as we go into the new year, I'm sure a lot of people out there want to learn how to make money on the internet. So this course takes you through all the lessons I've learned over the past 5 years by being on the YouTube platform. And many of these lessons these are probably things that you can research on the internet, you can get it for free. But I think what my own course specifically gives you is, it gives you the perspective of somebody who has been there and done it, especially from the African continent. Within the launch of this course, over 100 people have bought it, and all of them had positive reviews. So if you're interested in learning how to go on YouTube and building a career that allows you to work from anywhere and make money doing what you love, click the link in the description below. There's currently a 20% discount on the course for the next 7 days. So if you're watching this, go and jump on it right now. So let's jump right back into the video. The final lesson I learned from hanging out with all these entrepreneurs is that many of them are not in fanciful businesses. And when I say fanciful businesses, businesses that when you think about, oh, I want to do a business, that's the first thing that comes to your mind. Many of them are doing some of the most basic things. There's somebody I know who became a millionaire from just supplying charcoal. There's somebody I know who makes the cover that you see on all those bottled water. There's also somebody I know that has a company. All they do is they make the packaging on those bottles. So that's what I mean when I say like the non-fanciful business. There are some businesses that are usually fanciful. Everybody wants to start a tech company. Also, everybody wants to build a YouTube channel. Everybody wants to become an influencer, which is really nice. I own a YouTube channel, so I know how nice it is to, when you go out, people know you and they're like, oh, Tyre. But many of the people who have built considerable wealth are people who have been able to create a product or a service around something that people need every day. It might be very basic, but people need them every day. People need to drink water every day. People need to eat meat every day. So many of them are farmers. Many of them were people who either were in some form of agriculture or the other. Some of them were just in production or manufacturing, which I believe is more of what Africa needs, by the way. So not all ideas have to be fanciful ideas. Some of them can be the most simple ideas. All you just need to do is find a solution to a problem. I feel like that's what I've learned. For me, with this YouTube channel, I found a solution to a problem by creating content about Africa and about my experiences, about people, places that nobody out there was creating at the point in time when I started. And that resonated with a lot of people. Eventually, I'll still move on to other businesses that I'll also try out. And those businesses will come from finding solutions to people's problems wherever I'm at. In conclusion, the whole point of this video is to look at different areas of these entrepreneurs that I've mentioned and look at ways that you can learn from them and implement those learnings in your own daily life. What I've learned over the years is to create my own cocktail. And when I say cocktail, I mean, when I look at all these entrepreneurs, I don't necessarily just copy every single thing that they do, because not every trade of these entrepreneurs works for everybody. So what I do is I look at all of them and I try to pick out different aspects that I can learn from each one, and I make my own cocktail, and then I stick to using that to build my own business. So guys, I hope you learned something from this video. I think in the future, I'll do more sit-down videos where I document some of the experiences and some of the learnings I've learned from these guys. So you guys should tell me if you want to see more of these types of videos on this channel. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.